All right, guys, got another video here for you guys. This one is going to be about slop. You guys have probably heard that term a lot lately, and really the video is also going to just be about, well, what exactly is slop? And of course I'm referring to like entertainment, news, things of this nature. Like what is worth digesting, and what is just worth ignoring, essentially, because there's a lot of just absolute garbage out there. During the Biden years, it was a lot of leftist slop, but now we're getting a lot of just right-wing MAGA slop, to be completely honest. There's a lot to go into there, but essentially, and this also applies to like sports as well, like rumors, things of that nature, like using your higher intellect. Like what should you pay attention to, and what should you just outright ignore? And so I was just going to kind of make a video about that, and kind of give my thoughts there. So first of all, what I think the definition of slop actually is this is just stuff that is meant to, I don't know if you guys know about the term containment. Essentially what that means is it's meant to keep you in a certain mindset, and you don't branch out from anything else. This applies really more to like politics than sports. But even with sports, there's like this dialectic thing that goes on where they constantly want you guys like arguing. That's something I've noticed. Again, it's all fun, and it's all fun because it's sports. It's not real life, but this goes on with everything. Like if you get trapped in a dialectic, which is essentially like me versus you, you're always going to be arguing. And again, in sports, this is like a fun way to do it, like Eagles, Cowboys fans arguing, right? Because it's not like real life. But in politics, right, the dialectic is like the left and the right. Well, that example right there, the left versus the right, that is essentially slop. Now, it's not to say that there are not right-wing and left-wing views on things. There certainly are, and ways to run society in a right-wing or left-wing way. And as we learned with COVID, there's totally a possibility of left-wing authoritarianism. So we've kind of seen both sides now. There's like right-wing authoritarianism of the past, and then there's left-wing authoritarianism, and that's very real. But in the current day, because we have a uniparty, there really isn't that going on, right? Like I talked about this in my last video, I'll leave a link for that, what sports teaches us about politics. Essentially, it's all kayfabe, because they're just going to be meeting together anyway, right? They'll like pretend like they're opposed to each other, but if you actually analyze our government, there is no party system. I think I used in the last video, but I'll kind of repeat it quickly here. Like a good example is during the Biden presidency in 2022, Biden put sanctions on Russia when the Ukraine war broke out, and the sanctions essentially backfired on Biden, and it made the ruble go up in value. It actually strengthened Russia, and everyone was like, oh, this is like idiot Biden, blah de blah, which I do think Biden's an idiot, but that's beside the point, because I also used the Trump tariff situation, right? So Trump did a similar method. He just did it in a different way. Instead of sanctions, he did tariffs, and we'll have to see what happens, but essentially he's isolating China, same strategy, right? So you just see what I'm talking, like the slop here is that they want you to pick a side, like, oh, Trump good, Biden bad, or vice versa, right? And you see this in the news all the time. You just see, like, the real reason I'm even making this video is because the stuff coming out of Trump's cabinet and MAGA lately have just been absolutely so cringe that I have to talk about some of it. And this is things like Pam Bondi, right? She's talking about like, oh, any day now, guys, I'm going to release the Epstein files. Like any day, it's coming any day. You got the FBI with Kash Patel over there. and Dan Bongino. And again, this is early. Maybe they'll surprise me. But right now it just seems like slop, because I went through this during the first Trump presidency. This was like the birth of the QAnon phenomenon, basically, right? Like, trust the plan, bros. It's coming any day, bros. 2 more weeks, bros. That's always was the joke, right? Like, 2 more weeks and Hillary Clinton will be in prison. Things like this. That's containment. And that is slop. And so that is kind of the political side. And maybe I'll make because this is just going to be a brief overview of slop in general. But that's the kind of the political side. And like I said, I might make like a longer video about each of these topics. But the next one is we'll go into like entertainment. So yeah, we'll do sports. So sports slop to me is you're watching things like CNN, and you've got like these panelists, right? Like Nick Ryder. I don't even know Kay Adams. Like, I'm trying to think of all the. I don't really watch this crap anymore, so I can't remember all of them. But like Stephen A. Smith, a good example in the past was like Stephen A. Smith versus Skip Bayless, or Shannon Sharp versus Skip Bayless, right? Like, this is literal slop to me. Like, this is one of the reasons why I have a hard time covering sports in the off season, because it's just predictions. I do that on my channel. I'm not like condemning predictions, but like the way that they do it, it's like the most slop-tainment way possible. They're not really being real. Like, a good example is like Shannon Sharp back in the day. He would always pick Carson Wentz as his guy. But he just did that because they needed this dialectic. They needed like Skip Bayless, the hardcore Cowboys fan, to disagree with, Shannon Sharp in some way, even though he clearly wasn't an Eagles fan. He just was trying to argue, right? Those were the segments. Like, literally, I remember, like, the segment is like, let's just argue about pointless things. And then another one is Stephen A. He always makes fun of the Cowboys. It was funny in the past, but it's funny because, like, I used to think all this stuff was funny, like, just 10 years ago, like, how much things change. But it's utterly cringe now, because, like, once you see slop for what slop is, it kind of ruins a lot of this stuff. Like, it's hard to take any of it seriously anymore. And the key to recognizing slop is it helps you discover what is not slop. And I'm probably gonna have to make a video separately about what is not slop. So this is just a video about what is slop. And reading, you see my books behind me. It's kind of why I filmed this video in this frame this time, because the best way to get out of slop is to start reading, guys. Like, that really is the best way. If you haven't started reading yet, I highly, highly recommend it. I've learned more in the last 5 years just from reading books than I probably ever did in my entire life. Like, I went to college, I went to high school. I never learned anything really until you start reading books. And yeah, just pick your topic. Like, I started out reading about really like politics, or no, it's actually economics. That's how I started. I started out reading about like finance and economics just to kind of figure that out, and then it went into politics, and now I'm actually reading about theology. So like it gets to a point where your brain like naturally moves through. But again, I'll make a separate video for that, because that's not slop. And also there's a lot of slop books as well, but that kind of ties in. I'll go over that real quick. Like, what is a slop book? And it doesn't mean you can't read these, but when you read them, you have to be able to discern, and to discern what the slop is, you kind of have to like read other things. So Academic Agent said this, and I kind of agree with it. The best way to start reading, especially if you're going to read about history, is any book that was written before any book that was written like at the beginning of the 1960s or whatever, like really before 1945, right? Like after World War II, a lot of that is going to be slop, because you're going to basically just read, like, the conclusions are always going to be like the Nazis are the greatest evil of the world, right? And so a good way to get into this is you kind of want to go as far back in history as you can and like work your way forward. That's a good that's just an example of like how I de-slopped myself when it comes to history, because there's all sorts of narratives that go on, and if you don't know what you're doing with this stuff, then you're gonna read like a Mark Levin book and you're gonna think like, oh, that's history, right? Like that's a good example. That's a good example of like a slop book. So like, yeah, like Mark Levin, like Ben Shapiro. The really great example is James Lindsay. If you read James Lindsay, like that is pure slop, and that's a very deceptive form of slop because it sounds intelligent, but it really just is not intelligent at all. And again, this goes into presuppositions, all that stuff. There's a great channel, Jay Dyer, if you guys haven't heard of him. He's really helped open my mind to a lot of this stuff. And when you know where people are coming from, you can tell, like, are they being genuine or are they just trying to be containment? So there's an example of book slop. But yeah, like I was talking about sports. Like sports, it's very quick and dry for me. It's just, if you're watching sports entertainment just so that you can be like my team versus your team, it just becomes slop to me. Like with sports, I like to look at it for what it is. That's why I was talking about it being rigged. It's much more interesting to look at sports as an entertainment product than it is to look at it as like tribalism. Because it's like, I love the Eagles, right? Like I'm wearing the Nick Foles shirt, but I don't really get in fights with other fans anymore. I'm not big on the, I forget what they call it, like eating crow or whatever, like making these stupid bets with people and getting in this just pointless feudalism, not feudalism, why did I say that? Feuds, like getting in these arguments with people over like who's better, the Eagles or the Redskins, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm like, who cares? Like, watch the games. I'm either going to be right or I'm wrong. And we go from there. So that's a good example. And again, I kind of do that with politics as well. Like I'm obviously more right-wing. I'm actually a lot more right-wing than MAGA. That's why MAGA bothers me so much. But, you know, I try not to get in like arguments with MAGA people because it's pointless. Like a lot, especially if they're like boomers, their level of knowledge is Fox News. Like you can't argue with someone that only watches Fox News if you're like, because that's slop. They're arguing from a slop perspective. They're going to use slop sources, and their overall mind on that stuff is slop, because that's what the news is designed to do. It's designed to feed you slop. So, yeah, there's the sports thing. Another thing too, this is very easy nowadays, and this will kind of be the end of the way to end the video, I guess, is entertainment. I was gonna do like everything, but it's all the same now. Like, so movies, video games, and we can even include books, because a lot of books now are just like, if you're reading like fiction, especially like modern fiction, like a great example of like modern slop. Not, it's more of like a millennial thing now, but 50 Shades of Grey. That is like, that not only is that slop, that's like Coomer slop. So that's like the worst slop imaginable, because like, what's the point of reading that, right? That's another thing you have to ask, like, when you're reading something, like, what is the point of this? And you know, you could say like enjoyment, fine, but yeah, so there's like that. And then with movies, I mean, where do you even begin now? Everything has this stupid political agenda. If you guys are gamers, you probably already know about Sweet Baby Inc. and all this like female activism, this feminist, you know, atheist, just hateful activism that goes on in everything now, where essentially like you can be anything you want except for a straight white male. So I mean, this is like everything now. So like Disney, like all that you guys already know, like the Snow White movie just bombed. I was calling it Snow Brown. Like, this is what they do. They race change everything, and then if you have a problem with it as a white person, like, you're the racist, right? Because that's another form of slop, is just the word racist. The word racist, the word anti-Semite, like, all of these are slop terminologies because they're ultimately meaningless. Sexist, that's another one. they don't mean anything. All they're there for is to contain you. They're there to get you to stop thinking. Because if you take it to heart, like today on Facebook, great example is I was talking about how Obama's presidency was one of the worst presidencies in the history of the country. And this like cringe lord atheist guy like commented on my post, and he said, he went on my Facebook, because I post a lot of like Orthodox Christian stuff now. And I posted something about Mary Magdalene. And so he like went there and like, he like quoted it. He like grabbed it and like put it in the comments. And he's like, "Is this you?" And so I just replied, "Yes, it is." And then he replies with, this is the best one. I love it. He says, "Oh, so very Christian of you." Like I love when people say that, because here's the dialectic that he's trying to activate. So he's an atheist, which means he doesn't even believe in God, obviously. So by him saying that's very Christian of you, it's like, you're an atheist. You're not even Christian. So you're going to lecture me. You atheist are going to lecture me, Christian, on my own religion. So this is that's the dialectic he's attempting. He's trying to get me to be one of those Christians. And you see this with a lot of dispensationalists, a lot of more of the Protestant types. I don't know. I want to say more like evangelical, because there's a lot of Protestants that don't do this, but a lot of the people that just think that Jesus was like a complete pacifist. The goal with his "that's very Christian of you" is for me to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, right? I'm so sorry. You're right. I'm judging. I should judge not." So if you can see for what it is, it's complete crap. He's trying to take something that you believe in, and if you don't have like a strong belief in something, these kind of tactics work. Again, that's the point of this video. How do you recognize slop? These kind of tactics work because if you don't know your theology, if you don't know what you believe in, then you'll just fall for the post-liberal, I don't know, classical liberal, post-enlightenment, French revolutionary presupposition of, like live and let live, right? You as a Christian should never judge. That's essentially what it is. Meanwhile, these people are, like I said, calling you a racist, calling you a sexist, calling everything normal in life. If you agree with that, you're just a problem. So these people themselves are waging war on you mentally, and if you don't know it, you don't know it. But if you do know it, you know it. So that's a good example. I'll use that one because that literally just happened today, and I just laughed when I saw it. I think I commented back like, "Oh, how very retarded of you," or something like that. Because I don't know, maybe I'll make a video on this guy. He was like this bigger guy, and I looked at his channel and or his page on Facebook, and his whole thing was just like the most cringe atheist crap you can. He does that thing where he like swears a lot, and he tries to like make everyone look bad because, again, this is just like the typical atheist craze. It's probably not even worth making a video because this is the typical like fedora wearing atheist crap. But yeah, I just wanted to use that example. That's a perfect example of slop dialectic. He's trying to bait me into that. But yeah, to get back to the entertainment thing as well, like the movies like Disney, like a good example, and I'm probably gonna make reviews on some of this stuff. I don't know. I've been thinking about getting like much more into the movie reviews during the off season. I got to figure it out. I might make like multiple channels as well. I don't know. Still trying to figure all that out. But the perfect examples of slop last year was Gladiator 2 and Alien Romulus. Now, I'm a big fan of both. You guys probably already know I'm a big Alien fan. I've made lots of videos about Alien on this channel. So I was excited for the movie, but, at the same time, I'm like, Disney owns it. We've seen what they do. And, yeah, it was really bad. Like, Alien Romulus, there was literally nothing good about it, in my opinion. Like, if you've seen that movie, there's only one part that I liked, and it was the part where they showed the alien coming out of the cocoon. So there was like a cool visual thing in it. But everything was slop. I mean, this is like nostalgia slop is what I would call this movie. Because the entire movie was like, ha ha ha, you remember how cool that was? Like every scene was like a callback to another Alien movie. So it's like, let's not make a new movie. Let's just do nostalgia. And this is another trap that I'm noticing. Like Force Awakens, Star Wars started this, where you just do nostalgia. Like that's your whole gimmick. You don't create anything new. You don't try to like push the edge. A lot of the people that like hate on Covenant and Prometheus, they have their flaws, but it's like that's an example. Like at least Ridley Scott was trying to do something new there. And I'll always defend those movies for that. But we've entered this age now where, you know, we've had the woke slop. That might be going away. It might be a little bit more covert now. But we're entering the age of like pure slop, I'm noticing, because essentially their answer to not doing things woke is to just try to like, it's very weird because like, especially if you're like a millennial, you were like a child, you were so young when a lot of this was coming out, but they're trying to do this like revitalize the 80s thing where again, Romulus is a perfect example. Like we're just gonna have all these throwbacks throughout the entire movie to remind you of the movies you love, right? Like we'll have like the Alien reference, we'll have the Aliens reference with the pulse rifle, we'll do the Alien 3 reference where you've got the bald chick, right, that looks like Ripley. I actually noticed that in Romulus. Have you seen the movie? The 3 women each have Ripley's hairstyle from the eras of Alien. I don't remember the characters' names because I don't care, but I think the actress is Isabelle Marced. She's the one that gets infected with like the black goo. So she has Sigourney Weaver's hair from the first Alien. Or no, sorry, Aliens. She's got like the poofy hair. Then you've got the bald Asian chick. She literally looks like Ripley from Alien 3. And then the main character, whatever her name, Rain, I think was her name. She has the alien hair. So like that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like it's that noticeable. And then you got like the black android. I guess that's like the woke part, right? You got the black radio android. I don't understand. And then they put the chip in him, and all of a sudden he's like this super genius android, and he's essentially the plot armor. I noticed that. Like he's the what did a J.J. Abrams say like 10, 12 years ago about, in a lot of movies follow this really bad style of writing now where it's they call it the MacGuffin. It's like as long as you put the MacGuffin in the movie, it can like justify anything. And so that's like what they do. It's like all of a sudden you put this like Wayland chip in the android, and now he can like understand everything, right? It's just such a convenient way to move the plot along without actually having any character development, any consequences, like anything. And then of course the last one too is Alien Resurrection. There's a lot of that in there with the end when the weird alien comes out, and then the biggest one is they literally say the line, "Get away from her, you bitch," which I that was like the most cringe. Like I remember in the theater, like I actually cringed inside. I was like, oh, it like hurt me to hear that. So I'm not trying to like go too much on just Alien, but that's a good example of like nostalgia slop. And then they kind of do this with Gladiator 2 as well, but this one was even worse. I think Gladiator 2 might be the worst movie I've seen in like 10 years. Like it was really that bad, guys. And what did Gladiator 2 do? So Gladiator 2, it took the original, which in my opinion, Gladiator 1, that's a perfect movie. That's a 10 out of 10 movie. Didn't need a sequel. It did everything it needed to accomplish in one film. And just the fact that they even were going to make a sequel was like, if you're going to do this, you'd have to make it more about Rome and less about Maximus. But they did the exact opposite of that. So, not to spoil it too much, but essentially the little kid from Gladiator 1 turns out to be Maximus's son, which is stupid as well. If you're a big Gladiator 1 fan, you know that Maximus wanted to get back to his wife. That was like the whole point of the movie. There was no signs that he had another illegitimate son. So they retconned that, and in a way it cheapens Maximus's character. So there's that. And then the whole movie is just Gladiator 1 repeated. That's the best way to summarize it. It's literally just a story about a dude that starts from nothing. You know, he gets his family murdered. They do it in such a really bad way in this one too. Like you're introduced to his wife for like 2 seconds. One thing that was great about Gladiator 1, you never really like get introduced to his family. You just get these like glimpses. They do this like brilliant character thing with Maximus where the way you get introduced to his family is when he's praying for them, and then when he has like dreams and memories of them, and then obviously at the end of the movie he reunites with them in the afterlife. But in this movie they introduce them. She's some weird warrior, you know, feminist, strong woman type, where she's got like face tattoos, and she's like the best archer in the Legion and all that. And then she dies, like literally dies right in the beginning. And this sets off the movie. And they did this really stupid thing where I guess the colony, they never really say it, but the town is basically in Carthage. But at this point in Roman history, Carthage was already like a Roman colony, I guess you could say. It was already colonized by the Romans. So there'd be no reason for them to invade and take everyone slave. Again, ignores all of history, ignores everything. Gladiator 1 did this too, but Gladiator 1 wasn't really about history. It was more just about, there was like a theme there about masculinity, and, you know, it was about Maximus. This movie is just, again, it's a complete ripoff of the first movie, and even worse than before. You've got that guy that's in everything now. He's from Pedro Pascal, I think is the actor's name. He's in like every shitty movie now. Like he's always like the cuck. He's in that terrible Last of Us show. The games themselves suck, but the show, I'm never gonna watch it. But just what I've seen, I mean, every time I just see his face on that, it's like he just looks awful. So he's in it, and he's like the cuck general that you know like falls in love, and he's like simping over. I think her name's Priscilla from the first Gladiator. She's back. Connie Nelson's character's back. Yeah, it's just complete crap. I'm not going to go too much into this. But those are two great examples of entertainment slop. And you watch a couple of these movies and you start to realize, like, what am I doing here, right? This is like why I don't watch Marvel anymore. I don't watch Disney at all. You couldn't pay me to watch this. Like, I'm not going to go watch the Minecraft movie. It's because this is all just slop. If you've got kids, like, maybe take them to this, but I don't know. Even with kids, it's like, do you really want your kids' brains being subjected to this slop? You know, there's a good argument for that. Like, a good argument for just not letting kids have smartphones at all. I mean, there's a good argument for that, so. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get across in this video. We're almost to 30 minutes here, but yeah, like what is slop? How do you identify slop? You know, even if you still want to watch it, I mean, at least just being able to identify it goes leaps and bounds. Because what happened for me was when I first started noticing this, you know, I still wanted to watch it, but I don't know, the more and more you notice it and the more you read, you naturally just start not wanting it. It's kind of weird. It's like your brain over time just kind of changes, and you're just kind of like, you realize the pointlessness of it. It could just also be an age thing. Like, I'm not that old, but, you know, I'm getting older. And so it does just kind of come with age as well, where you're just thinking, like, I've got limited time on this planet. Do I really just want to watch slop? Do I want to just live my life to consume next product constantly, right? Oh yeah, I forgot to real quick, is video games, it's very easy too. So video games, there's tons of feminist activism in there now. If you guys know about Gamergate, I mean, this has been 10 years ago. It's literally the reason why Donald Trump is the president, to be honest, is that there's like that joke. All we wanted to do was play video games, right? Like that really is. The whole reason that Trump was memed into the office in the first place was because these stupid feminists wanted to just like destroy gaming. Essentially, they wanted to make all the women ugly. They're actively doing this now, like to an extent I didn't think possible. A great example I'll just get is Assassin's Creed Shadows with the Black Samurai. Like, that is insane. You have a Dragon Age Veilguard, where like one of the main characters is literally a troon, a tranny. If you guys don't know what troon means. It's an internet term to keep it. I don't know if YouTube is gonna get all mad about this video, but got Dragon Age Veilguard. Trying to think. There's the scandal that has come out where it's basically provable now that they take these female models and they purposely make them uglier. Star Wars Outlaws, that's a good example of like they get this like beautiful actress and they purposely make them like uglier in the game. Because again, this is all just like spiteful female behavior. They want the women to be ugly. And another good example is on PlayStation, that Spider-Man game. They actually found this out, like proved it. That this like, she wasn't ugly. I'm not saying this woman was ugly that did this, but she was like a very average looking woman. But she self-inserted, like she literally modeled Mary Jane, who in the comics of Spider-Man, Mary Jane's supposed to be like a supermodel. She's supposed to be like Marilyn Monroe, like that beautiful. Like they make a point of this in the comic. It's not me making this up. Like back when I was a big Spider-Man fan, that was like the big thing is like Mary, what is it? Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot or something was the line. She was supposed to be like absolutely supermodel gorgeous. So yeah, this woman like self-inserted her face into Mary Jane, and it just made her like this average looking woman. And then I haven't played the game, but apparently there's a lot of stuff now where like Mary Jane is like, she's like better than Spider-Man. I don't want to say better, but she's like, without her, you know, like Spider-Man can't do it. And it's like he has spider powers. Like he literally can pick up cars with like one arm. Like, so it doesn't even make sense. Like this is what I mean. They're doing this thing now where they're just trying to make it so like men are useless and the women do everything perfectly, and it's just really obviously cringe because, you know, again, it creates the slop dialectic of like men versus women, right? Forgetting just completely throwing aside that men and women are supposed to complement each other, but it wants to create this dialectic with everything. So yeah, again, that's kind of the video. You know, I went all over the place, but I wanted to nail it down. So we have politics, we have sports, and we have entertainment. Those are kind of the three things we're subjected to. There is also a theological aspect to it. If you guys want me to do that, I would come at it more from a Christian perspective. So I know that's not for everybody, but there certainly is a theological aspect to it too. There's slop in everything nowadays, guys, is the bottom line. Like it's unavoidable in the modern world. There's a really good movie, underrated movie that I watched recently again, that I might do a movie review on because it just hit me that profoundly. And I actually am calling it the anti-slop movie. And that movie, it's a 2005 movie with Nicolas Cage in it called The Weatherman. If you guys have not seen that, I highly recommend watching it, especially if you watch this video and you want to really like go in and kind of see slop. The movie literally is about slop. It's like about a lot of things, but like the core of the movie is slop. I mean, they're literally throwing fast food slop at him throughout the entire movie. His job is slop. Like, I'll make a review on it. I've actually been writing the script for this because I saw the movie and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. That's another thing that's cool when you recognize slop and you go back and you watch like older things. Things will like pop out to you, and it's crazy. I call it nightmare goggles because it largely is. Because I've explained, like, once the goggles are on and you start seeing, if you've seen the movie They Live, that's kind of where it comes. Once you see the aliens and you see that everything is fake and gay, it's like really hard to come back from that. Like your brain just starts to see it, right? You're a noticer now, as they say online. You just notice the things that they do, and so it certainly applies for good and bad when you go back and watch like older movies. Once you're slop aware, you could say. So anyway, guys, that's kind of the video. What is slop? How to identify slop? How to avoid slop? And if you want to embrace slop, how to at least, you know, like I said, recognize it for what it is. But I'd really be interested to hear what you guys think about this down in the comments. Probably going to start making videos a lot more regularly now, but it'll just be on different things. And then I will be still covering the Eagles because, you know, it is slop, but I like that slop. That's another thing. Just because it's slop, it doesn't mean you have to hate it. You know, the NFL is most certainly slop. It's quite literally bread and circuses from the Roman Empire. Like, it's literally there to distract you. They put political crap in it, like, all the time. The commercials. That's a really great example of slop, is when you're watching football, just pay attention to the commercials that they play. I mean, that's a level of slop where when you notice it, it's almost like painful. It's so cringe. So there is that as well. But yeah, like I said, comment down below if you're new to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video too. It helps the algorithm. You know, share the video if you can. And yeah, that's kind of all I've got to say. I've rambled. We're about 35 minutes is usually about what I get with these videos now. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and you guys have a good one.